welcome back to Roy's School of the Fife. This is episode 2, playing the D scale. I assume now, since last video, you've been practicing hard and you can now make a reliable sound on the fife. So I assume you'd like to play music on the fife. So how we do that is we have to learn to play what we call notes on the fife. The notes we're going to learn today are those of the D scale. Many songs on the fife are written in the key of D, and so they use these notes often. So the fife effectively has 3 octaves of range, from D1, which is low, low D, all the way up to the dog whistle pitch of D4. But many fife tunes utilize sort of a middle range between these. So you're not playing way down near D1 and way up in the top of the instrument near D4. So we're going to learn the scale, first of all, from D2 to D3. So if I face you with the fife, I'm actually backwards to what you're going to need to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn around and zoom in the camera so you can see my fingers in the correct orientation. First, you hold up your right hand, even if you're left-handed, and then the fife will go out towards the right with the holes on this side. And then you're going to put the 3 fingers of your right hand onto these 3 holes furthest away from your face. Then your left hand comes up on this side of the fife with your 3 fingers on these holes closest to your face. So in Hawaii, there's the shaka symbol, hang loose, Fifer dudes. And this is actually how we hold the fife, with our thumbs and pinkies, with both hands. And when we go to play, these fingers here will be up to cover the holes. So now you can see that my thumbs and pinkies are holding the fife, and these fingers are free to finger all the notes here. And it's also resting against my mouth. So here there are 6 holes on the fife. So you use these 3 fingers on each hand to cover those. So you should really just keep those always nearby to those holes. And so if you end up going like this and you're looking for an imaginary hole, you gotta scoot it over, or it's the same with this hand. So it's always these 3 fingers and these 3 fingers on these holes. Many people who play different woodwind instruments, such as flute, want to put their fingers on the fife like this, with the tips of the fingers. But actually this is incorrect for fife. You want to actually use kind of more the pad, the flat part of your fingers in order to cover the note completely. So if you've got a good embouchure, but you're still not getting a good sound when you finger the notes, it might be because one or more of your fingers is not completely covering the hole. So here's an example of what that might sound like. Versus a good sound. So I'm going to use a fingering chart notation to teach you the notes. For example, here is the fingering for the note D. You can see that on the screen there. Circles that are colored black indicate that your fingers are down, and the fingers that are up are indicated by a white circle. And so you can see that on D, your first finger, our closest to your mouth, is white because you're lifting that finger, and all the rest are black. So you noticed that this is the fingering for D2, and this is the fingering for D3. And why is this? Just because you have to just blow harder for the higher note on D3. So here's D2 and D3. Now I'm going to demonstrate the D scale. I'm going to lift my fingers really high just so you can see what I'm doing. Now I'm going to play the D scale at a little bit faster rate of speed, and I'm going to lift my fingers at a normal height. At the end of this lesson, I'd just like to make a couple notes. One, I'm sure you remember that to get from D2 to D3, you have to increase the pressure up to D3, and it's the same thing when you're going up the scale. If you don't do that, you get something like this. So you really have to make sure to increase the pressure as you go up. Number two is the fact that the fife is a transposing instrument. A lot of other woodwind instruments like the flute and the oboe, when you play a D on the flute and you press the key on the piano, it's a D. But on the other hand, with the fife, when you play a D, it's like an out-of-tune B flat on the piano. But thankfully, you won't have to really worry about that because music is written for the fife. You won't have to transpose. And so, my friends, keep on practicing and always remember to be a happy fifer.